This is a tale of debaucherous debauchery, of squatting, sleep deprivation, methadone, 2 jails, and Hurricane Katrina. So, I had nowhere to live, and I was at the VA in Birmingham, Alabama. I had met a friend there who also didn't have any place to go. Now, since I just got my prescription to methadone, I called my friend Josh, who was an addict, and he had a house that him and his wife had lived in that they had moved out of, and it hadn't sold yet. So he said I could stay for giving him some methadone. So him and his mom picked me and my friend up from downtown, drove us to that house, and let us stay there. So we spent the night. We both ate a bunch of methadone. In the morning, we hear wham, 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 wham. Who the F is in my house? It was his wife. His wife is a very crude woman with a hot temper. And I need to explain that my friend was African American. She's banging on the door and I open it. She's an addict too. So as she's opening it, I'm like, hey, I got my script and method. Her whole family was behind her. She punches me in the face, sees my friend, and starts yelling the N-word over and over. That I lit. There's just so many dirty expletives and slang she used, and it was deeply embarrassing. It should be embarrassing for her, and hopefully she sees this, somehow runs across it, and hope she's embarrassed, because that was ridiculous. I had permission from her husband, and I get punched in the face by her in front of her family. Why she screams the nastiest words she can possibly think of for African Americans. We walk out, and when we spent the night, I fell asleep finally about 30 minutes before she knocked on the door. I was really tired. We separated, me and my friend, and I walked up to my other friend's house. It wasn't far away. And I ran to her bathroom, told her what happened, and I heard, Jamie, the cops are here. I look out, and sure enough, there's the police. So I had a whole prescription of methadone. So I quickly took the cellophane off my cigarettes and dumped the methadone pills in, wrapped up as tight as I could, and suitcased it. And if you don't know what that is, right up the butt. Best place to hide it, because they check everywhere when you're going into jail. Now, at this time, talk of this impending storm was ubiquitous across the South. People of all classes and walks of life had been talking about this storm that was coming in off the coast of off the Gulf of Mexico, and I knew it was coming, and that's why I wanted to stay at his house. Personally, I didn't care about having to sleep outside because I'd done it so much before, but you know, when you have a storm like that coming, there's always people with malicious intent who want to rob you or take advantage of a situation. And I just didn't want to stay outside also for when the actual storm came. he puts me in the back of the cop car. As we're driving away, I see my other friend walking down the road looking mad as hell. That was the last time I've ever seen him in my life. Take me to Birmingham City Jail, and I go in there, and I'm high as a kite. And my cellmate saw it, and he asked if I bring anything in, like, because I'm an idiot, and I'm high, and I let them know. And I'm not sure exactly what happened, but I didn't have any pills the next day. The next morning, they released me in Blount County, which is a county neighboring Jefferson to the northeast, I think. They extradite me and take me up there. Now, I had been, of course, shooting dope for a while, and I had an abscess on my right arm here. And when I get there, everybody is scrambling hither and yon, trying to get ready for this storm. And the guy sees my arm, and he's like, I don't think I didn't, if I'd known this, I would have been show everybody. But he saw this, like, I don't have any place I can put you. He took me to the hospital there, and the doctor was like, yeah. He's like, anybody that comes in contact like that, they could become infected too. And so they had to release me. So after the second jail in 2 days, they released me, and now I'm a good about 45-minute drive from Birmingham, and the storm is coming. It's already hit New Orleans and Mobile, and the levees had already broke open, and water from Lake Pontchartrain came flooding into the city and coastal waters. And so now the storm is coming up to Birmingham, and it really didn't lose any power. I remember walking down the highway, and the storm was coming, and it was starting to rain, and the wind was blowing really hard. And because of how bad it was, somebody saw me walking and picked me up and drove me to Birmingham to my mom's. And there, and I'd run out of pills, because whatever happened in Birmingham City Jail, the guy got them from me, and I was too high to even realize what was happening. So now I'm going into nasty withdrawal. So this storm is the lightning, and the lightning was right. You would see lightning strikes right in front of you, all over the place. And because it was so close, the thunder was so loud that it would shake all the cars so bad. Car alarms would go off all over the place. Tree branches were flying right past you. Trees were falling down. You would hear a loud crack and a thunderous boom as they hit the ground. It was quite a sight to see. It was a tempest of the gods, and I've seen quite a few storms in my life, and that was one of the most intense. I also went through Hurricane Andrew in Florida when I was younger. But I remember just feeling it was the end of the world. I was so sick from the methadone withdrawal that I really didn't care what was going on in New Orleans. I know that me and some of my friends had the grand idea to drive down there to try to get any pills we could, because nobody was in there. You could just walk into any pharmacy and take shit, because that's where all the looting came from. We didn't quite make it down that far. Of course, the withdrawal prevented me from doing much of anything, and because of this storm and the devastation it brought just to the city where we lived, there were no dope dealers doing anything. So if you didn't have something, you were screwed. It was a time of discontent, a time for re-examining one's priorities. But of course, when all was said and done, as soon as your drug dealer picked up the phone, you were gone. I'm not sure exactly what happened. Probably went to my grandmother's house and begged for money, but all I can really remember from that time is up until the day after the storm, when you could go outside and just see all these down trees, down power lines, long big branches in the middle of the road. Police were everywhere. It looked like Armageddon, and the way I felt, it could have just gone ahead and been the end of all time for all I really cared. Please put in the comments a time where you probably ran into some problem that you could not control. A storm, flooding, maybe a huge police raid that stopped your city. Something big that happened to keep you and anybody else in your region from getting drugs, and probably caused a huge panic. I'd love to hear what people have to say and other people's stories. I will see you guys tomorrow, tonight. Maybe you'll stay up. I know I am, and hear that lonesome train whistle in the dark. If you've ever been up around 1:30, 2 a.m., doesn't matter where you are in the world, if it's quiet enough, you'll hear a train whistle coming through whatever town you're in. And I've come to expect the train whistle in the dark. And if you're up and you're hearing that and you're lonely and sick and don't know what to do with your life, you're not alone. And it's one thing to know you're not alone. It's another to know people that are going through the same thing, or at least know exactly what you're going through. So leave in the comments what's going on in your life, and I'll catch you cats on the flip side.